One of the most powerful voices of the 20th century, silenced in a flash. But John Lennon's story isn't just one of tragedy, it's a story of pain, protest, love, reinvention, and the dangerous cost of dreaming aloud. Born in 1940 as bombs fell over Liverpool, John Winston Lennon came into a world already broken. His father, Alf, was a sailor who drifted in and out of his life. His mother, Julia, couldn't handle raising him, so she gave him to her sister, Mimi. Mimi gave him structure, Julia gave him music, and fate gave him abandonment. When Julia finally returned to his life, it was brief and beautiful. She taught him banjo chords and played him Elvis records. Then, a car crash. Julia was gone. Again. This time, forever. Loss didn't break John. It shaped him. Pain became melody. Grief became lyrics. By 23, he was a Beatle. By 25, he was a millionaire. By 27, he was worshipped. But behind the cheeky smile, Lennon struggled. He felt like a phony. The crowds didn't know the man, only the myth. He experimented with LSD, meditated in India, searched for meaning in chaos. But even as he stood on stages before millions, he felt most alone. He once said, "I was crying out for help, and nobody heard me." That cry became a song. It was called Help. And few realized it was literal. Then came Yoko, avant-garde artist, lightning rod, soul mirror. To many, she broke up the Beatles. But maybe, John had already broken away. He saw in Yoko what others didn't, an equal. Together, they staged art as protest.
Plan to make them as peaceful as you made these blood-crazed Canadians.
No, we're really talking to the best thing we've done so far is talk to the people of Berkeley, and we think we had some influence in holding back any violence that was going to come out of that. And we believe that, and we talk to them solid every hour before the march and after.
During this last week.
We talk to them every day. We talk on the phone, on the radio station, live.
Their message, peace, love, truth. But inside the band, cracks grew. Creative control, ego, vision. Everything collided. In 1970, it ended. The Beatles were gone.
Now, for almost 50 years, Sir Paul McCartney has been blamed for breaking up the Beatles. But in a new BBC interview, he said the split was actually initiated by John Lennon. Here's more from our music correspondent, Mark Savage.
I'm not the person who instigated the split.
You brought the lawyers in there, didn't you?
Oh, no. John walked into the room one day and said, "I'm leaving the Beatles." And he said, "It's quite thrilling. It's rather like a divorce." And then we were left to pick up the pieces. But I didn't instigate the split.
John Lennon didn't retire. He transformed. He left England, left the Beatles, and declared peace as his new cause. But in America, his adopted home, not everyone welcomed him. President Nixon saw him as dangerous. Lennon was too loud, too radical, too influential among the youth. For years, the US government tried to deport him.
Keep in mind that the period of time we're talking about, the sometime in New York City period, was a time that the United States government was doing everything in its power to deport John Lennon. And wiser people than I have explained the reasons behind this, but just rest assured that recently declassified FBI documents indicate
the FBI followed his every move. Wiretaps, surveillance, intimidation. Exhausted by fame and politics, Lennon vanished from public view in 1975. For 5 years, he was just Dad, changing diapers, baking bread, watching the world from a window. In 1980, he came back.
Our life together is so precious.
Double Fantasy was more than an album. It was a rebirth. John spoke of forgiveness, of fatherhood, of aging. He was finally at peace with himself. "I'm starting over," he sang, and meant it. Then, on December 8th, 1980, as he returned home to the Dakota, 5 shots shattered the quiet night. He died in the arms of the woman he loved.
Well, parole is denied once again for the man who killed John Lennon. Mark David Chapman shot Lennon in the back 4 times in December of 1980.
Witnesses told police Lennon was shot near the door to his apartment building as he and Yoko Ono returned from a recording studio.
John Lennon can't be dead.
4 cops pulled John Lennon out and put him into the back of a police car, and he was bleeding from his mouth, and he was...
I saw John and Yoko get out of the limousine. They walked into the gate, and oh God, let me take your time. And then I heard 4 or 5 shots. They were ear shattering. I heard Yoko, and I heard a woman screaming. It was Yoko. She was screaming, "Help me!"
John Lennon wasn't perfect. He admitted it himself, jealous, angry, wounded, but he turned his pain into poetry, and his rebellion into reminders of love, of peace, of daring to imagine. His music still plays in protests. His words still live in classrooms. His spirit, raw, human, visionary, still echoes. You may say he was a dreamer, and he was. But what if dreaming, loudly, defiantly, was his greatest act of peace? If John Lennon were alive today, would he still believe peace is possible? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more captivating short stories.